Okay. Anyway, 22, generate parentheses. Given n pairs of parentheses, write a function to generate all combination of well-formed parentheses. For example, given n is equal to 3, a solution set is all this stuff. Um, hmm, it's not impossible. I'm trying to think like, well, one is, um, hmm, that's a little annoying. So actually, this is kind of cool in that, I mean, I also just wonder how big n is, right? So actually, if you look up, so I actually recognize the sequence because it's kind of a well-known sequence, maybe, which I'm wrong though. It's a sequence called Deucalion sequence, and you could kind of Google it. It goes like I used to know this sequence by head. It's like 5, like like 2, 5, 13, 42 or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while, but yeah, you could definitely do this manually. I mean, you have to because you have to show off them and stuff. Just having a number, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, but hmm, yeah. Uh, what is the way to think about it? Oh, thanks, Julian. I actually only started that. I don't know how that stuff works, but whatever. I mean, I think, and I don't know how does making money on Twitch stuff work, and I don't haven't really looked that deeply into it. But yeah, because I think I just got unlocked it, so I actually haven't looked into it. But whatever I get, I actually intend to. I mean, it's not gonna be that much, but whatever I get from Twitch, I intend to donate all of it, so I don't really care. I don't worry about it. I mean, I guess the more I make, the more charity mix or whatever. But I don't really, it's fine. Um, do I have, do I have any tips for overcoming nerves in the interviews? Yeah. So I mean, I think for me anyway. Look, end of the day, especially when I do phone screens, like when I'm as an interviewee, I guess I have to come back to this problem in a second. But as an interviewee, like when I'm interviewing for a company, I still get like crazy amount of adrenaline rush and stuff like that. I think there's no way about it, right? Like an interviewing is, like if you think about the power dynamics, if you will, like all the powers in the interviewer's hand and stuff like that, and and yeah, kind of what Juice Yan is alluding to is what I was getting to is kind of first of all you have to kind of make sure you're confident, which just comes from a lot of practice. There's no way about it. Everyone fails a lot, and and sometimes not even in a fair way, right? Sometimes like, okay, sometimes you have a bad day, sometimes the interviewer has bad days, right? Like, and in a way that's kind of unlucky that interviewers have bad days too. But it is what it is. It's life, right? Like there's no way around it. And I think if you just, I don't know, it's tough, right? Because there are definitely places where like, in the past where I'm like, oh, I wish I, but or did better an interview at X, and but it is what it is. You just have to kind of move on a little bit, and do the best you can. I feel like in general, if you have done the best you can, and or given the circumstances that you can, then it is what like can't beat yourself over it too much. I don't have a great answer for you other than that. I think a lot of it just like you have to practice it. Uh, uh, like I still kind of the crazy thing is I don't remember a lot of problems that I've done on interviews per se. Everything looks kind of familiar, but I remember like, and this is 2005 when I had so was it 14 years ago. I still remember a problem that like I got wrong from an interview back then because like because I was like, I should have known this and I know this, but I still got it wrong. So definitely, like I still beat myself a little bit up to it. But I think if you do, I mean, and that's kind of why I do the stream a little bit is that you do it, and well, not just the stream, but this practice in general is once you do it enough, then at least you do all you can. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of luck involved in the sense that like your interviewer having okay day, or maybe you say the right things, and or maybe you have enough sleep, or your interviewer have enough sleep the day before, or something like that. I don't know. I mean, but I would say like an interviewer is very like you have to be so like putting your position in a putting yourself in a position of vulnerability, and just you're literally like putting yourself out there. You're like, hey, this is me. This is maybe representative of me. Maybe it's not, but this is the best I'm going to do at a given time, right? And it's tough, right? There's no way around it. I mean, I think when and if, well, I guess when, there's no if, I don't have enough money to retire or anything. But when I get back in interview, I'm definitely still going to like get a little excited in good ways and also probably bad ways. So I don't think there's any way around it. And I've done a lot of these on both sides, and even just knowing how hard this is doesn't make it easier to not have nerves, especially if you really want something, right? I think nowadays the one thing I would say is that nowadays, like failing is not so bad, and even if you have a dream job, right, like still work hard at it if you fail the interview, and maybe you get it the year after, right? In the grand scheme of things, doing a year before, a year later, yeah, that year's gonna be rough, but maybe you have motivation, maybe get slightly better, maybe get slightly luckier, and then you get it. I don't know. That's in theory anyway. But you could keep trying again and again at interviews, and you do get better over time. A lot of it's experience, both on interviews and just like your software engineering skills and stuff. Like you do get better over time. Or if not, then you have to figure out what it is that you're good at, and like get better at it, or bad at it and get better at it, or whatever. Just get better in general, right? So I think like these things are not one and done, and like you only have one shot or whatever. It's like, was that song by Eminem? Like you have one shot. I forget how it goes. Anyway, but it's not like that song, right? Just keep trying, and eventually you'll figure out a way to kind of and I actually talk about it here and there, but like about the meta of interviews as well, just not necessarily just the problems, but like doing well in these things. But yeah, I hope that answered your question kind of. I think for me, I still get nervous when I mean, you're literally like putting yourself out there for like anyone to judge you, right? Well, your interviewers, I guess. But like, and it's tough no matter how you think about it. And it's not something that, you do many times in your career. The last time I was interviewing was like 5 years ago. So that's like half a decade ago, right? Which is, I don't know, mind-boggling to even think about. But yeah, but I think like yeah, as Deucalion said, like once you've done a couple and you practice a little bit, you kind of see patterns. Not just like the problems you're seeing. I mean, you start seeing patterns there too, but like on what they ask for and stuff like that, and kind of yeah. I mean, and these things you just have to practice a lot. I think early on in my career, I think, and this is not me, but like but I referred a buddy of mine who, like maybe he's not like the smartest person in the world, but he's like very confident, very good software engineer and so forth. And I referred him to my company that I was working at the time, which was in finance. And as a basic problem, they were like, hey, write out a function that calculates the nth Fibonacci number, which is nowadays a very basic thing. And he just blanked out for 45 minutes. And, I mean, these things like just kind of happens, right? Like nowadays, I think people practice Fibonacci and take it for granted. So maybe back then slightly harder, but even then it's just Fibonacci sequence, right? You give it a function, you implement it. These things happen even with good engineers. So I think, you just have to kind of get better at it, get meta about it. And you get, you see patterns in how people ask questions. And I think if you have the opportunity, and I don't know if you're senior enough to have those opportunities, a lot of what I learned is also like being on the other side of things, right? People want just like as an interviewer, I just want to see, I just want to know who you are and how and what, how confident you are on certain things, which is never going to be perfect in an hour sitting or whatever. But I think like, and also like when you're in an interview loop, like, you do an on-site and there's like 5-6 people, and then afterwards they usually gather to kind of talk about a candidate. So from that, you also see like how other people interview, especially how other people who are even more senior than me, and like what they look for, and over time, like that's how I learned a lot about interviews. I'm actually like just interested in it in general, and how we can maybe improve the process, but that's another whole different story. But no, I mean, I think yeah, I mean, once you practice a lot and get confident in it, and then maybe these things get a little easier. I mean, I think for me, like I think I worry in general. I worry more about like being overconfident, but I don't know, but not in a good way. Just like I'm like, oh, this problem, I probably got this one right, and then like I missed the edge case, which you still see on the screen sometimes. So anyway, okay, that's uh, long aside, but hope that answered your question a little bit, or like I don't think I have any shortcuts. I think maybe there's some like psychological things that you can do, like which you can interview, which you can Google for, like I don't know, like just in general, getting a good night's sleep, maybe eating at a good time, or like make sure you eat enough but not too much, or something like that, right? Like, but I think at the end of the day, like I said, like you're really putting yourself out there whenever you're doing interviews, so there's no way around it, right? Anytime in life, whether it's interview, whether it's I don't know dating or whatever, anytime you put yourself out there, it's gonna I don't know, and if things matter to you, like for your dream company or whatever, like there's no way around it, right? You really want it, and you do the best you can, and you leave everything else to where it falls. Is my advice. But if it makes you feel any better, like, and I've done a lot of these, well, on both sides, I still kind of you know choke and get nervous and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think, and that's why I'm doing practice. um, cool. Especially on the coding. I think I talked about this earlier, even earlier today, where like the algorithm part, I'm actually okay in general, but as you kind of see me, like my coding is at least not as terse and precise as I need to be or want to be anyway. Because the thing is that once you've done a lot of these, you figure out ways to kind of solve them in similar ways, so that you write them in a way such that fewer edge cases come up, and that kind of helps you do it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, well, uh, yeah, and Nico is just one component of an interview, obviously. So you know, but which is I don't think we talked about it specifically per se in our conversation, but yeah, I think you do get better over time. But yeah, hi Shiver. Yeah, moved to Midwest. I actually grew up in New York, so I didn't move to New York per se. Like you know, not like recently anyway. So I don't know. In that sense, I'm lucky or whatever. But that's just like the way it is. I don't know. Don't know how I feel about it. But but I would say even in New York, really taking a detour here, but yeah, even in New York, yeah, before Leetcode, there used to be a lot of brain teaser e problems. So I think I consider those worse, but like it's not even programming; it's just literal brain teasers. But I mean, somewhat related to programming. Like sometimes there's like robots in the story or something. But like, so there's always been similar things for a long time. But yeah, uh, yeah. But I mean, I think I don't know. It's always a tough balance because I don't know, because you really do spend like even if you know everything, right? Like an interview takes like what 10 hours over like a couple of days, so it's a huge commitment. It's like a day and a half of paid work or something, right? So yeah, everything is tough, and going from both sides too, not just like you're taking 10 hours of your interviewer's time or something, right? So these things are tough. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm trying to figure it out. Anyway, okay. Uh, love to keep chatting. I mean, feel free to chat in the chat, but that's my input on it. I'm going to try to solve this problem a little bit. But yeah, definitely one thing. Cool. Yeah, the one thing I would point out is that this is the Deucalion sequence, and for these generator type problems, yeah, I mean it's going to be recursion in some way, which is how you calculate the Deucalion sequence anyway. But So yeah, so I think, yeah, so the way to think about how do I want to do it? So either you do it bottoms up or top down. But yeah, I'm just going to do bottoms up. And this is just going to be recursion. So basically, uh, how to think about this? Whenever you have a parentheses, not bracket, well, you have a parentheses, you can think about putting stuff either inside or outside. I think that's the only, yeah. I think that's mostly it. I mean, I don't know if there's anything to go about it. I'm going to try to do this. Let me know if y'all have questions. I'm just trying to, like, a lot of this is just getting stuff kind of right. I don't think there's anything uh, like, well, you should get, you have to get the recurrence a little bit, but I think that's okay. But okay, if and this is equal to one, so let's do base case. Return just this, right? Else, do I have to sort it or anything? I don't even know how to sort it. I can see, okay, well, but yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm going to. Yeah, I think that's probably a better way to think about it. I mean, I was going to do something like this. There's only two ways to put it, right? Like we put in new brackets, it's either your X is in there or it's like either in or out kind of thing. I don't know. I was just gonna hack my way to it, but yeah. Uh, okay. Otherwise, I think one thing I just want to make sure is how to make sure I don't dupe stuff. Maybe I don't have to do it with recursion, though usually I do it with recursion. No, I don't think so. No, it grows exponentially. I think that's so. There's a sequence called the Deucalion sequence, which is very well known and actually comes up in dynamic programming a lot. And that is the number uh, that like. And if you Google it, it shows the growth. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so like I think it's super something. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'll paste the kind of, this is like the first nth number, which I guess like if they're gonna make us return 9 million things, that's already so like n is probably like less than 15 or 20 or whatever this is. Yeah, 15. So yeah, so that's kind of I don't know. Yeah, and apparently it's actually now I'm reading this Google. I mean article. I mean I already know about the sequence, so I don't know if that considered cheating, but uh, but I'm just looking at some probably. But what is a good way of formalizing this there? Hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. There's like some cool things with counter and sequence because that's also like anyway. Okay, maybe that's not important. Um, okay. Uh, so we want some recursion stuff. Is that okay? Maybe it's okay. We don't recreate anything. Yeah. Just worry about memory usage if depending on how I do it. Uh, So another way you could, yeah, maybe similar to what you, maybe that's what Cool Guy 93 is saying, which is you could think about these as kind of the number of numbers that sum to something. So for example, um, maybe that's like a easier way, and then just convert it later instead of doing NFY. Like for example, you have something like this. Oh, this is medium. Like you could just go to 3. This is I don't know, 1 1 and then 1, maybe something like that. Maybe I can't represent it that well. Maybe I'm just, this is 2 and 1, and then 1 2, and then just 1 1 1. How is this? Okay, what are the 2's? Maybe I could figure out the pattern that way a little bit better. Or like try to do a slightly effective way to parse this. So, well, there are only 2 of them, which is, I guess, this and this, right? That's like that 2, that 1. Remember the iron program is n cube. I guess n, that's reasonably okay. It's also the number of ways to merge adjacent things, I think, or something like that. Oh man, congrats. Man, maybe today should have my day. But yeah, that's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm like trying to think about like clearer ways to do it, because I'm going to create a lot of strings if I kind of just like, really dearly like every step of the way. I mean, you get the summation of all these strings, and each of these strings are kind of big. That's why I'm trying to like figure out if there's an easier way for me to kind of, uh, uh, you know, yeah, but like that, yeah, that's why I'm trying to generate like some sort of ways to do the number things. But maybe there isn't. Maybe I just need to be better. And I don't even know if this is right. I mean, it's kind of right, but can it be more right? Oh, I need to cache this stuff as well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, let me just do it here. I could set up the cache here. This is more here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that setup is okay. Yeah, I don't know if I should worry about memory usage. Like, should I just kind of get it right? And we could, but yeah, I don't know. This is also the number of which we call it. It's also that comes up in that's fair. Yeah, that's what I was also like. Yeah, I mean, you see this sequence. I don't know how big of an end they will want, but man, I'm struggling a little bit today. This is just a medium. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always think of recursion as an implicit stack, right? So, yeah. But okay. So yeah, but other parameter may be a little confusing for me to think about. I think the equivalent one is was it matrix multiplication, and a number of ways to kind of do different ways to do matrix multiplication, but I guess. So let's get to one way you have the one all the way out. You know. Let's worry about dupes a little bit. How do I make sure I don't get dupes? Okay, so these are the twos, and then I get these two by putting it around. Like these two, I get these two from this one, just putting it to the left and to the right, and then this one is just, well, then you get a dupe. Is there a way around it? And also, I think I'm undercounting a little bit, because you could definitely also do like gets crazier with two on the side, and then it's a number of paths. Oh yeah, also the number of binary trees. There's a lot of stuff that comes up with counting the numbers, which is how I know it. But maybe actually instead of a list, maybe I just call it a set and then call it a day. And then if I generate a little extra, maybe that's fine. Is that sketch? Yeah, maybe. Just trying to figure out the syntax is right. Yeah, okay, well. Clearly my syntax was not right. Okay. And we always want to add stuff to the front. No, okay, I know why I'm doing this. Silly, right? Maybe. I think I'm just. I think my problem is my current recurrence is a little weird, and I need more inputs. Because you can't. There's no easy. This is not binary, just in and out. Because I think that's the problem that I'm struggling with. I think actually I needed another parameter to keep track. So that you get so you can merge things together. Also, like okay, yeah, I think I got it, maybe, ish. Maybe these are the cases, but the dupes are still maybe a little tricky. Just like how do I get rid of dupes? I just keep it in set. But then I would, for n, if I do the in and out, and this is more than 2 to the n, right? In this case, I have yeah, maybe I tried too clever to be yeah, so okay, so just you take the previous stuff, you put it outside level 2, and then you put it before and after, so that's 3, so that's 3 to the n. What's 3 to like the 12th? 3 to the 12th is 500,000. So if it's too big, then I guess it's not an issue. Okay, let's try that then. You're right. Maybe my issue is overthinking it too much these days. Okay. And these variable names are terrible. Also, this is what happens when I'm mixing languages. I should be better about it. Also for UGs and even in C++, that's not a great excuse. Man, this is going to create so many strings. This is where I need string buffer, maybe. Are these really all the possibilities? I'm just a little skeptical, but maybe not. Okay. Well, I have an extra. Oh, well, that's just. I think that was from autocomplete. That wasn't even my fault. But okay. Well, did I overthink this? I think I tried to be too clever. Maybe if this works, we'll see. We'll try for a bigger number first. Maybe not. Maybe this is going to time out. Okay. Wow, 52 milliseconds. I actually don't know if this is right. And actually, apparently, the reference solution don't even want it in time. So maybe I should have done. I don't know. Okay, fine. Maybe I overthought this one, given that it's a medium, but it's still like a little sad if that's the case, because I was trying to do something like, okay, well, I don't know why I did this, because I can't really. Do I need to sort it, though? I mean, this is definitely not. Okay. Okay. I mean, I don't know how to look at this result and be like, okay, that sounds about right. But let's just at least try the smaller numbers where I can do. And, but how does that work? I actually never used it. But does that tell you? Maybe I'm just dumb then. Okay. Like, where does it tell you? Oh. Oh, is that the diff? What is this diff though? I've never noticed this before, to be honest. Sometimes a gift false negatives. I hope so because it's showing stuff. Okay, what is this? 3? Oh, 4? All right, let me just look at 4 then. I think it also returns some stuff for 5. But I was wondering if I'm missing something, but no, I mean, it looks good. There's nothing coming up. I mean, if it works with 4, I'm kind of confident, but I mean, the only thing that I think is, yeah, okay, I don't know. Okay, maybe there's just something weird. But I mean, the only thing that I worry about is timeout, so I'm just gonna submit it. But oh man, wait, okay, so I was wrong about 4, maybe. Also, what did I redo? Oh, I didn't click on diff. I'm just dumb. Sorry, friends. But what is different? This is like a string difference, but also I'm missing some stuff. This is kind of what I worried about, actually. That you needed to put them down to different components. Okay, because this is 1, but you might need to. Okay, at least I feel a little better that this dumbass solution that didn't work. But yeah, it's also yeah, this is very annoying to read. But hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think there's I think I just have a real bug. That's why I'm slowing down a little bit, which is that I don't have. So this merges n with n minus 1, I guess, uh, like this stuff. But I don't like this could be you need to merge the n with the n minus 2s and so forth. If that makes sense. Um, hmm. I'm just trying to write. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where it comes from, though. Okay. Actually, this is cached anyway, so this, and these are iterated, so okay. Okay. So this is right, but I need to do more. Okay, let's just keep this pretty. I think what I need to do is something like left in. Hmm. 2, 2, n minus 2. N minus 1, so you get n. I'm just gonna write it like this. I know so that it's slightly clear what I'm trying to do. Um, Something like that. That's what I was thinking, but oh. Yeah, so that's right. Ooh, no, I almost clicked something by accident. Man, that's why I don't play Counter-Strike, and I do this instead, because I almost hit submit. I can hardly hit these buttons. Okay. I suck at those video games where you have to click on the right things, or like in given time. Okay. Okay. Man, in that short of a time, what are the inputs? I think I think my man, I really don't like this. I think that's where having the end comes in is handy. I mean, I know that end gets big, but I think I was trying to be really precise with the memory usage with my recursion. I mean, I knew that that's how I. So I'm kind of annoyed at it now. Now that I'm talking about it, like I know how to do it per se, like, but it's like, if okay, fine. Let me just describe this farm a little bit. How long did I spend on this? Wow, I guess like 40 minutes, but we talked a little bit about it. Oh, bye, Druzian. Hope to see you out next week. But yeah, but well, one is, yeah, this is just literally like, I mean, the way I did it anyway is very brute force, and I put in a set. So this actually, once very inefficiently, uh, maybe all of Caroline numbers. I don't know how many dupes there are, but well, this is at least like 3 to the n. So and this is even worse. So I don't even have a great idea of how fast this runs, except for it's it's exponential. Um, but and this still works for whatever reason. So and in fact, and very fast actually, which is with poor memory usage, probably the same as a cool guy. But yeah, I mean, I definitely don't like this problem in the sense that I don't know what n is. So I was trying to figure out ways to do this in a clever way. Even though I did have I kind of should have known this better. I mean, I think I just misread the result of the code, especially given the end, so I should have known better. But I think the cache is critical. You definitely should have it. But other than that, like it's a brute force problem, and it ended up being like essentially 20 lines of code or something. So this is kind of a terrible problem. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be exponential. Yeah, I'm not going to try any to go to 100 because I don't think there's any like n to the 15 is 9 million or 10 million ish, right? Almost 10 million. So like n to the 100 is going to be ridiculously huge. I'm not even and definitely would not run even with cache or whatever. But because that's like the size of your output is going to be already too big and too fast. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be exponential. But I thought I could do it in a more kind of like the constant matters sometimes. I guess in this case it didn't, so it was my bad. I spent way too much time kind of trying to do this the cool way. Maybe that's why this is a medium. I don't know why I got so many upvotes as a result, because this is straightforward. Otherwise, maybe not. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. I don't really like this problem. But and I don't know if it would come up like this in an indie wheel. I think more commonly nowadays, anyway, is that you see the dynamic solution or dynamic programming problem, rather, where they're like, okay, given n, how many of these parameters you have, and then you just list them versus like doing this. Well, I don't know. I say that, but I feel like people also do like, write permutations for an array or something like that, which is a very common thing. So I don't know. But yeah, I could definitely see this kind of problem in a more difficult problem, like a dynamic program problem, as I mentioned. But I don't think you need to do this specifically. Don't take my word for it, because the world is big, so someone will probably ask this as a problem and probably will continue to. But it's kind of tricky. I think if you see this and into it, the first thing I would kind of clarify is like, well, look, I know n is going to be, or like f of n is going to be very big for like, even n equals like 15, and I think 16 is probably going to be way too big. I don't know what that number is off my head. But so like, what is the problem? Like, what is the limits, the constraints of the problem that we're trying to solve, right? If I knew that that like it's and it's going to 7 say, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7 is just 429. Okay, maybe a little bit more, maybe like 10, right? Then I'm like, well, then we just will brute force. But without knowing that, maybe was trying to be too careful, and that's where like we definitely did way more work than by work I mean like computational work than the minimal. But for small ends, I guess it doesn't come up like we did it actually still way faster than anything else. So even though I know that we created a lot of strings, but even then, I know that we are not great on the percentile on the memory usage, but even then it's only 12 megs, so like I'm not going to stress over using 12 megs for this problem. So I think some of that is just poorly specified problem, but that's what happens sometimes with the earlier Leetcode problems. So I don't know. Yeah, okay. I think that's what I'm going to say about this one. I think, I mean, this is a recursion problem. I don't think I could clean this up that much more. Or these are for loops and specific statements. And I had to sort it, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know if y'all have questions, because I mean, this is like essentially what I did is brute force, and brute force being exponential. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know what other people are doing that is slower, because I'm also using Python, right? I guess these are only in Python, but so like maybe other people are doing it crazier, but yeah, it's definitely something like crazy one times. I have to like, yeah, this thing is the non-trivial one to analyze for me. I mean, it's like n squared just in the loops, right? So, well, not even. I mean, it's just n squared. No, this is like f of. It's like a recursive e thing just to calculate that. But it's definitely super exponential. Not super exponential, but just regular exponential. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting problem. It's cute. It's fun. I think in general, and maybe I mean it applies to this problem, but I think it's a good thing to ask in an interview if you see something that you think is excessive or brute forceable. Ask the interviewer like, "Hey, I think my first instinct is going to do this brute force. See if it's okay, right? Because maybe like it, if they care about the first 10 ends, then clearly I did not need to kind of do something crazy. It's always going to be it's always going to be exponential as mentioned, but like maybe I don't have to be as careful with the constant, depending on the constants and so forth. But I think they're definitely like you could do this in O of C of n time uh, where C sub n time maybe where C sub n is equal to the count n sequence, but like yeah, yeah, and that's the other thing, I guess. Yeah, yeah, you could always just have a pre-calculated in a lookup table, and yeah, so that's why there are ways to talk about this problem for sure, but definitely like, and if I had maybe an actual interviewer, these are things that I would ask about before actually coding and try to prematurely optimize a little bit on this case. I've been not generally pretty good about not prematurely optimize, but before I don't know, maybe I got stuck a little today on this one as a result. But yeah, I think that's what I have for this problem though. Let me know if y'all have questions. And space is also O of C to the n, C of n, because that you're storing everything in a set that scales up to the to this. But yeah, okay.